Listening, particularly when God speaks, is a game changer. And if you feel challenged in this area, I have breaking news. You may not have a listening problem. You may have a focus issue. Wherever you focus determines what you'll find. And you don't want to be focused on irrelevant things while in the presence of the immortal king, because his next words can change everything. This is the Daily Recharge, an Endurance Movement original. I'm Reginald Hinton Jr., and welcome to today's opportunity to renew your thinking, align with God's design, and become who you really are. Today's recharge is this: focus is the secret sauce of listening. That is, focus determines what you hear while listening. That's why I said you may not have a listening problem. You're listening to this video right now and likely understanding the words I'm saying and actively deciding if you'll keep listening to what I'm saying. And this is just one conversation. You've had countless others that prove you can listen. So the greater question is, what are you listening to? That reveals focus. And wherever you focus determines what you'll find. That reality became very clear as Holy Spirit guided me through one of my favorite passages in the Bible. Here it is. But Martha became exasperated with finishing the numerous household chores in preparation for her guests. So she interrupted Jesus and said, "Lord, don't you think it's unfair that my sister left me to do all the work by myself? You should tell her to get up and help me." The Lord answered her, "Martha, my beloved Martha, why are you upset and troubled, pulled away by all these many distractions? Mary has discovered the one thing most important by choosing to sit at my feet. She is undistracted, and I won't take this privilege from her." That was Luke 10, verses 40 through 42 from the Passion Translation. First, when Jesus compliments someone, pay attention. Secondly, contrast others around those he compliments if you want clues on what not to do. So here goes. He complimented Mary. Jesus' words, not mine. Mary has discovered the one thing most important by choosing to sit at my feet. That means we should contrast Martha. Notice what Jesus said to her. Why are you upset and troubled? What's the difference? Both were in conversation with Jesus, but they got different outcomes. Mary got a compliment, Martha got corrected. And here's the distinguishing factor: focus. It's the secret Jesus revealed in both statements. Martha was distracted. Translation: she was focused on the wrong things. Mary was undistracted. She was focused on the right things. So here's a key on our way to others. If you want to benefit from listening, especially when God is speaking, focus is key. Let's make that our first note to self. Write this down. Focus is key while listening to God. Now, let's highlight two focal points you can adopt while conversing with God. The first is you. That's the Martha pattern. While conversing with Jesus, she was focused on her worries. Remember what she said to him? She interrupted him. Wait, we need to sit with this. She interrupted Jesus. That's not a small lapse in social norms or unprofessionalism. That's a huge indicator of focus. She interrupted him, which may imply she felt her words were more important than his. Yikes. But that's the danger of self-centeredness while conversing with God. Unchecked, it can become a subtle form of idolatry. It's establishing importance, and God isn't it. I think we need a note to self here. Write this down. Focusing on myself while conversing with God is telling. It tells God that he's not what he should be in your life, among other things. And if you want to be who God created you to be, he must be in the right place. Your identity flows from him to you and through you. So choosing to focus on you when he's the reason you are is tragic. That's why Mary's approach is golden. The second thing you can focus on is God. While Mary conversed with Jesus, she focused on his words, not her worries. That's the game changer. And Jesus' compliment confirmed it. Remember the last part of it? He said, she is undistracted, and I won't take this privilege away from her. That's worth another pause. Jesus honored her focus and refused to let it be interrupted. And this is where you want to be when God is speaking. Focused on him like your life depends on it. Let's add a note to self here as well. Write this down. When God speaks, my focus should be on what he's saying. That positions you for world-changing revelation. And here are some practical ways to do that. First, eliminate distractions. That's essentially what Jesus told Martha while correcting her. Practically, it means multitasking isn't the best option when God is speaking. Uh-oh. I may have stepped on your toes with that because most of us have developed a bad case of the multitasks. We eat while working, we scroll social media while working out, some even text while driving. And the worst part is that we can convince ourselves that we're good at it. But when God is speaking, all other distractions must be eliminated. That's the posture of sheep. Jesus' illustration of people who have a relationship with him. Notice these words he once shared. And when he has brought out all his sheep, he walks ahead of them and they will follow him, for they are familiar with his voice. That's John 10, verse 4 from the Passion Translation. If you've ever seen videos of shepherds calling their sheep, then this example hits different. They only focus on their shepherd's voice. They really won't follow a stranger. But if we're entertaining other distractions while God is speaking, we are giving stranger level influences the attention reserved for the shepherd. And following anyone who can't stand in your future, strategize your present, and restructure your past all at the same time isn't worth it, because God can do all that plus some. Add a note to self here. Write this down. I must eliminate all distractions to focus on what God is saying. Now, here's the final practical way to enhance your focus while God speaks. Engage deliberately. Sitting at Jesus' feet wasn't coincidental. Mary was deliberate. She physically positioned herself to hear Jesus clearly. At his feet was the place to be. The same is true for you and me. There are deliberate decisions we must make to hear God clearly. For me, for example, that means getting up before my family is awake. It means keeping my digital and physical journals handy so I'm ready to capture what he says. It also means revisiting what he said later to ensure I understand it well enough to execute. You must establish your own parameters and routines. Here are some questions to get you started. When do I hear God best? Where do I hear God best? How do I retain what God shared best? Those answers will reveal the ways in which you need to be deliberate so you can receive while he is pouring. Now, let's recap today's recharge. If you want to improve your focus while listening to God, first, remember that focusing on yourself while God is speaking can reveal that you are treating your words as more important than his. Next, eliminate all distractions because multitasking means you're not prioritizing God. Finally, be deliberate and establish patterns and routines that help you hear and understand God best. And here's how you can implement what I shared. Over the next week, identify the distractions that easily pull you away from hearing God while he's speaking. Ask yourself, do these distractions have God's grasp on my past, present, and future? If not, eliminating them should be easy. Then answer the questions I posed earlier related to being deliberate. When do I hear God best? Where do I hear God best? How do I retain what God shared best? When you have the answers, lock in the patterns or routines that protect what you discover. Thus far, this has been a monologue. Help me make it a dialogue. How has eliminating distractions or being deliberate improved your growth journey before? Let me know in the comments. And this conversation included practical tips to demonstrate focus while listening. If the wisdom resonated, listen to the conversation that will help you discover why listening is important, especially if you're a pioneering leader. Listen before you lift. I left a link in the description or accompanying blog post. When God says so, I'll be back with another video. Until then, let God renew your thinking, align your responses, and empower you to become who you really are. And when the distractions become less distracting and being deliberate becomes your operating system, don't miss it. You may be strengthening a pioneering journey without even realizing it. Have an incredible day.